Okay, we're going to look at checking an AGS file and fixing some of the errors that occurred in it. So first of all, we're going to use the local Python checker. It's a preferred checker if you can get the Python to work on your machine. We're going to select our AGS file and it's going to run the Python checker and come back with some errors. So it's found some errors. Do we want to import the AGS data and the errors into the workbook? Say yes. So now we've got the AGS data here with all of the tables you see. And we've got our log file, which shows all of our error messages and what line they're on. So one of the things that's quite useful, we can select the line number here. We can go to the AGS toolkit and we can go find, and it will take us to that line number where the error was. This is an error being caused by carriage returns. In fact, the carriage returns will create quite a lot of errors. If we just have a look at the file itself in Notepad, and here we can see we've got carriage returns on line 33 that are causing all sorts of problems going forward. Now the beauty of that is if you export AGS data from the toolkit, it will solve that problem. It will remove the carriage returns that you've put in any cells. So let's just do that. Let's just use the export and we'll give it a name. We'll give it the same name, but we'll call it fixed. So we can now save that. Do we want to check it? So we'll now recheck that file that we've just created and update our log and error sheets. Okay, so we can see we've got quite a few data sets that are not being used, and this is a project or a data file that was created from an early version of GroundHog. And as you can see, it's just set all of the data types and units to blanks and zeros, which is not really that great a practice. So what we can do is we can select all those messages and we can just say fix. Now if the data type and units are standard units, it will just happily go through and input them in. So it will now change all of those units and PAs for all of those fields going forward. So they've now all been updated. You can see we've now got the proper units and the proper types actually in those fields. Let's also have a look, see what other error messages we've got at the moment. We've got some headings out of order. We've got a project AGS that's not found in the dictionary, so that's a non-standard field. Let's go and have a look at that. So that is a non-standard field, just being in Excel. Let's just get rid of it. Simple as that. It's actually in the trans data, and you can see in the trans data it's actually all there anyway, so not quite sure what the problem and why it was put in the project table as well. We can now go through and have a look at these problems. So reordering of data, we'll just go through and fix those. So that's now fixed. And we've got an interesting one here, a blank unit line. That's an odd one, unusual to find that. So let's go and have a look at it. And it's correct, there is a blank unit line there. So let's just delete that blank unit line and export again. Hopefully this time we fixed it. You can find it's quite an iterative process fixing and looking at errors, because when we fix one thing you'll see lots of other things come through. So now we've put the proper units in, it will say, well, hold on a minute, the units and the data types aren't actually in the ABBR table and the unit table. We can fix that as long as they are standard units, because it knows what to put them in. So it now adds those into the unit sheet. We can do the same with the types. We can fix those types going forward. We've got items not in the right ordering in project, so let's just fix that. And then we've got lots of values here that are to the wrong decimal places. This is always worth going to have a look, see what's the problem. So here we can see that we've got 2 decimal places, but actually our values there most definitely aren't 2 decimal places. So we can catch those and do something with them. Not a big problem, but if you're submitting AGS data to a client and they just want 0 errors, they may come back to you and report that's a problem. So we can select all of those messages and fix them. It will go through and fix all of those values. If we go back now and look at the locker, you'll see they're all to 2 decimal places. This one was already to 2 decimal places, so it hasn't been changed. And let's now just go through and export that. Let's put that to be fixed. Save that. We want to check the file, yes, and it has no errors. Success. So you can see there how The AGS Toolkit will guide you through the process of fixing errors and checking AGS files. I hope that's been useful. Some really interesting, helpful tips there if you are looking at historical GroundHog data that's been uploaded to the BGS website and you're trying to get it in to a site investigation software that imports AGS data.